There's a ton of noise out there. So how do you get decision makers to pay attention to your brand? Start a podcast and invite your ideal clients to be guests on your show. Learn more at sweetfishmedia.com.
You're listening to the B2B Growth Show, a podcast dedicated to helping B2B executives achieve explosive growth. Whether you're looking for techniques and strategies or tools and resources, you've come to the right place. I'm James Carberry.
And I'm Jonathan Green.
Let's get into the show.
Welcome back to the B2B Growth Show. Today we are joined by Jon Ferrara. Jon is the CEO at Nimble. He's actually a returning guest. We're so lucky to have him back on the show. He's definitely one of the favorite guests we've had on the B2B Growth Show, and with 500 plus episodes, I feel like that's really saying something. Jon, welcome back to the show.
Jonathan, I'm super excited to be back here on the show to share a little bit of inspiration, education about how you and I might help your listeners become better, smarter, faster.
Yeah, absolutely. And today we're going to be talking about this idea of marketing and doing business in an over-connected and over-communicated world, which I think is going to be extremely valuable. There is so much connectivity, there's so much communication. How do you remain authentic in a world like that? But before we get into it, I know you've got some really cool stuff going on at Nimble, so why don't you tell us what you and the Nimble team are up to these days?
You bet. Thanks for the opportunity. So what Nimble is, it's the first CRM that works for you by building itself from the operating system of your business. What does that mean? Today, the operating system of your business is either Office 365 or G Suite, but it might also include Gmail, iCloud, IMAP, POP, or Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn. You've got connections and conversations going on in a bunch of different places. And I think that's why we're over-connected and over-communicated, is that we live in 6 different tabs and 3 different apps. And that's what Nimble helps you with in order to build relationships, is we unify the contacts, the emails, and the conversations in email, calendar, and social into a relationship manager, either for yourself if you're an individual or for your team, and then enable you to use that anywhere as you work. Because I think the biggest cause of failure of CRM is lack of use or bad data. It's too much work to Google somebody before a meeting and then go type that into the CRM and then go try to engage with them in email and go log what you did in your CRM. And I think that's why CRM systems fail and most people don't use them. And so what we're doing at Nimble is reimagining CRM with a simply smarter social sales and marketing system that layers on top of your Office 365, your Gmail, your G Suite, et cetera. And what's new is we just launched a plugin for Office 365, Outlook, as well as Microsoft Edge. And what it does is it automatically gives you info on people and companies. So when you open an email, you have the context and insights you need in order to understand who that person is and what their business is about to make you more effective at engagement. And soon we're going to be releasing something called Nimble Prospector, which is an add-on to Nimble, so that if I'm on somebody's Twitter record or LinkedIn record or really any record, even inside of a business article, and I want to know more about Jonathan Green, I Nimble them. And Nimble not only automatically builds a record on Jonathan, but also a record on Sweetfish Media, which is your company, and optionally gives me your phone number, email, and address, and enables me to then outreach in a segmented way with emails that come from my email to your email so that it feels relevant and authentic with signals and opens and clicks, which means I can prospect much more effectively. And today, if you are relying on your company to give you leads, you're done, because you will not be able to get to the top of the pack. And that's what you need to do to be successful in life, is to be able to become better, smarter, faster at whatever job you're doing, regardless if it's sales or PR or biz dev. And so Nimble Prospector is something that will be happening in about a month, and we're super excited about it.
Well, that's great. And, I'm glad that we're getting a chance to talk about the new Nimble Prospector. You'd mentioned a couple of things just sort of in that explanation. You'd mentioned authenticity, you'd mentioned unification, you sort of mentioned alignment, and like you've said, there's a lot of communication, tabs, pieces of software, things that you're juggling around, and everyone's talking about this idea of aligning teams and, you know, sort of unifying the strategy and everyone being on the same page. And it's tough because we are over-connected, we are sort of over-communicated, and you want to manage that customer journey and maintain that air of authenticity. So I think that's why today's episode is going to be important. Before we even started the show, you had mentioned that, you know, this is kind of a problem faced not only by individuals but also by teams. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think that your network is your net worth. Your personal brand plus your professional network will help you achieve your passion, plan, and purpose in life. And I hope that passion and purpose in life is to serve others, to help others grow, because I think that's why we're on this planet. And today, you know, you go and look at the average person number of contacts or the number of emails that are in their inbox, it's just exploding. And so we're over-connected and over-communicated. And whether you're an individual or whether you're a team, you need to be able to manage and nurture relationships effectively at scale. And the bottom line is there's a Dunbar limit. There's only 100 people you can manage in your head at one time. Most people have thousands. And so I think that when we talk about CRM, we really forget about what is a CRM. At the core of it is a contact manager, because it really is about relationships, and that's what the R in CRM stands for. But most CRMs are used as reporting systems. And I think that what we need is not a CRM for salespeople to go after prospects and customers, but a unified system of record or relationship for everybody in the company, so that no matter who picks up the phone, they know who that person is, the history of interactions, and what's going to happen, so that they're more effective with that person wherever they're engaging. And that's what we're focused on doing, is delivering that relationship system of record for not just salespeople, but everybody in the team at a company.
Yeah. I mean, you'd mentioned offline, you know, you've got your sales intelligence enablement software, you've got your marketing tech stack, but there is this increasing need to simplify with all the tools that are at our disposal. You know, do you need to keep adding tools? Are they getting needlessly complicated? I mean, do you need to sort of take a step back and look at, okay, what is it that we're trying to accomplish, and what tools should we be using? So what sort of advice do you have for our listeners?
Well, any business, any person today needs a landing page. And so whether you're an individual or a company, you need a domain, ideally. And when you get a domain, the next thing you need to do is you need to build a website. So you maybe set up WordPress. After that, you need some sort of email productivity cloud-based system for email, contacts, and calendar. And the thing immediately after that you should be thinking about is a social sales and marketing system, because the whole purpose of building a website is to drive eyeballs to the website. And once you drive an eyeball to the website, you should be doing something with the eyeball. So let's talk about the sales and marketing technology tech stack that's required for the customer lifecycle. Mm-hmm. So if you drive a lead to a website, you should capture a portion of that lead and begin to nurture it till it's, quote, lead qualified. So that might be a form where you capture their email or their name or something more. But if you capture that, you should put it in something. Most people put it in a marketing automation system, and that's what you basically use to nurture that lead until they're lead qualified. And so those systems are anything from MailChimp to Marketo, and the sophistication and the price ranges from, free to, $100,000 a year. But once they're lead qualified, which means you've captured enough signals off of that lead after you've nurtured it to determine if they're qualified for you to engage, you put it in the CRM and you tell your sales reps to go get them. The problem is that's where the work starts. Your sales reps spend 60% of their time looking up information, Googling who that person is, what their business is about, and then ideally typing that data in the database. But you know, Jonathan, that salespeople stink at data entry, and in most cases they don't do it, which is the biggest cause of failure of CRM is lack of use. But if you are able to beat your salespeople to do it, and this is where a joke comes in, the reason they call it Salesforce, you have to force salespeople to use it. Nobody in the right mind would use a CRM if they weren't beat on to do it. If you could coerce your salespeople to type data in a computer into your CRM, the data is going to rapidly decay because people change, companies change, and so data entry stinks. And in most cases, you shouldn't be having your salespeople do it. And then once they've entered the data, then they have to do their research on who that they have to basically go out and engage with that person. And so typically that's email, and now more and more social. And it's too much work to type letters and send them and then see if that person responded. And so rather than having to Google somebody, you should use sales intelligence software. And rather than doing manual emails and typing in letters, you should use some type of sales enablement email tracking software. So now the sales technology tech stack grows. So not only using market automation, which is high-level bombing over the battlefield of your prospects, you're using the CRM to track the data and the engagement. Now you need sales intelligence, which is either going to be LinkedIn Sales Navigator, Raintree, DiscoverOrg, some type of data enrichment program. And by the way, Nimble's number one in satisfaction in that category. Then you're going to need some type of sales enablement, some sort of templated email tracking software, which is more like the rifle. So to win a battle, you need to put boots on the ground. That's salespeople. You need to give them intelligence. That's sales intelligence. Then you need to basically give them a rifle in order to engage. That's sales enablement email tracking. And if you add all four of those things up, it's roughly $300 to $600 per month per rep. And the tools don't talk to each other, and they're too complex to use. So then you got to hire a sales administrator for $50,000 to $70,000 a year to run all this stuff. And it's my belief that these things are becoming commodities, and that you shouldn't have to buy separate tools, and you shouldn't have to spend $50 to $100 to $200 per month per rep per tool. And that's where Nimble comes in. So Nimble today is number one rated in CRM, number one rated in sales intelligence. We just rolled out our sales enablement, and we have embedded market automation functions in it. So you could use Nimble as your social sales and marketing system for yourself, as your personal CRM, or for your company. But Jonathan, you could even use Nimble within your existing social sales and marketing system. So I use Nimble inside of our marketing system. I use it inside of Dynamics and Salesforce. So you could basically use it within your existing tools, or if you're an individual rep and you're using Nimble as your personal CRM, you could bring your golden Rolodex to work with you, because in most cases, sales reps don't type their entire database into the company's CRM. But imagine if you could use your network in the process of engaging leads for your business, you'd be much more effective. So I think that the evolution of the customer journey requires an evolution of the social sales and marketing technology tech stack. But at the same time, I think it's too costly and complex to buy the tools that are recommended by the typical SDR, sales development rep, and that Nimble's really the platform for the masses, the rest of us, the 99%, not the 1% of the Kool-Aid tech drinking coastal startups. It's the rest of us that basically want something more nimble.
Got it. And Jon, so, I also, before we let you go today, I do want to talk about this idea of how to engage authentically with a prospect, and deliver sort of value-added content before you convert them into a prospect. I mean, I know this is, we're changing gears a little bit, but I know this was something we had talked a little bit before we started recording, and if we could just touch on it before we let you go, I'd feel really good about it.
You bet. I really believe that people don't want to buy from Slick Willie. They want to buy from a trusted advisor, and that you shouldn't try to sell people. You should try to serve them. And in order to serve another human being, you should do your homework. You should know who somebody is and what their business is about before you ever enter in a conversation. And then when you get in the conversation, don't talk about your products. Don't talk about your services. Nobody cares. They care about how they might become better, smarter, faster. So all of your engagement should be listening to learn, to find ways to add value, and let them know how you can help them grow. In fact, if you do that before you ever meet with somebody, you're basically setting yourself up as that trusted advisor. And this is what I do on a daily basis, is inspire and educate with what I call the 5 E's of social business. I educate, I enchant, I engage, embrace, and empower other people to grow by essentially just sharing content in and around the areas of my passions around my products and services. So I share content daily about how you can be better at sales, marketing, social media, social selling. And what happens is that's like a digital lure that I'm dripping outside of my business into the social river. And then people bite on that and then I reel them in. And we not only do that individually, but we also do that with our company brand all together, basically reeling in not just prospects and customers, but ideally their influencers as well. And so that's my secret to becoming your customer's trusted advisor. And if you only focus on prospects and customers, you're missing the boat, because if you can build relationships with the influencer of your prospects and customers, then you can truly scale a gold mine. And that's exactly how we built Goldmine in the past and how we're building Nimble today.
Well, and I love the 5 E's of social business. We actually got a chance to talk to Jon about that on episode 22 of the B2B Growth Show. I encourage you guys to check it out if you haven't already done so. Jon, it was a pleasure having you back on the show. If anyone in our audience is interested in sort of finding out a little bit more about Nimble Prospector that you have coming out, or today's topic, or the 5 E's of social business, what's the best way for them to go about doing that?
Well, if you simply go to nimble.com, that's nimble.com, you can sign up for Nimble yourself and get a 2-week trial without a credit card and watch some of our videos. We do a webinar every Wednesday. We do walkthroughs every day at 9 o'clock and learn about how to build your brand and nurture your network. And please connect with me personally. I'm Jon, Jon_Ferrara on Twitter. In fact, just Google me, Jon space Ferrara, and you'll see my identities. In fact, I'm going to tell you this. Today, if you can't Google yourself and your identities, your key 5 identities don't show up on page 1, then you are not doing what you need to do to stand out from the crowd. So this is my one takeaway is Google yourself today. Google me and then Google yourself, compare it. And if you want to learn how to stand out from the crowd, how to build your brand, how to grow your network, how to achieve your passion, plan, and purpose in life, connect with us at Nimble. We'll teach you to fish, and then we'll give you the fishing pole.
I don't know how you can say no to that. Jon, again, thank you so much. Always a pleasure having you on the show. It's great getting to talk to you today.
Thank you, Jonathan.
To ensure that you never miss an episode of the B2B Growth Show, subscribe to the show in iTunes or your favorite podcast player. This guarantees that every episode will get delivered directly to your device.
If you'd like to connect with B2B executives from all over the world, make sure to join our private Facebook community. There are some incredible conversations happening inside this group. To join, visit b2bgrowthshow.com/FB.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.